You know, I think one of the obvious solutions is going to be corporate tax policy with our government. And, you know, a lot of people want to say it's going to be exploration, it's going to be alternative energy sources, it's going to be, you know, changing our habits in the country. But I truly believe that one of the things we need to examine and make sure is fair is corporate tax policy, so that our companies, our large exploration and production companies, integrated E&P companies, and our service companies are committed to staying in this country and not taking jobs and their corporate headquarters overseas because of our country's tax policies. And I think fair corporate tax policy is a big issue. It's overlooked a lot. There will probably be a lot of discussion on, you know, what we should be doing, but I think one of the key elements is a fair and balanced corporate tax policy that treats the energy industry fairly so that they continue to grow, thrive, explore, create technology, and bring us those fuels and solutions that we need for the future.
Yeah, energy security is top of mind for everyone right now, and I really think that we need a sustainable and solid energy plan that hits on 4 key areas. Certainly, we need to understand that this is a multi-resource solution. No one solution is available to us. Oil, natural gas, coal, renewables, they're all going to be an important part of the mix. We also need to make sure that we have a policy that's long-term in nature. We can't go for a short-term fix. We need a long-term planning horizon, maybe 30 years in duration, to really come up with some solutions that are going to help us. We need to also make sure that we have a long-term investment horizon that's focused on a solid policy of carbon reduction. That's got to be a critical component of how we evaluate solutions that are available to us. And then I think lastly, we need to make sure that we have the right sort of investment and collaboration between the public and the private sectors in terms of innovation, technology, and people.
The facts and the data support we're going to need every molecule, every piece of energy we can get our hands on. So the discussion needs to move from one of either or to and. We do need renewables and alternatives. We do need conservation and efficiency in the equation, but we're also going to need a healthy oil and gas industry to provide that bridge until the renewables and alternatives are available at scale such that it can play a strong role in the energy mix.
I think when we're talking about energy and where we should be in order to feel secure and safe and that we're going to have the energy we need, we have to start thinking about it differently. It's not just where it comes from, and it's not just about how much you use. It's about what you use it for, how is it produced, the after effects of that production. And so what that means is that we have to look at a number of different things. We have to look at what kinds of energy sources do we have in our country. What will those sources be? So if we look at wind, we look at tidal energy, geothermal, those are things that make it easy enough to be able to produce something locally. I think we look at solar energy, but we also have to understand what is the impact of that energy production methodology. So when we start talking about biofuels and things like that, in some ways they're very clean and very good, but they have a very strong impact, for example, on nitrogen balance, on groundwater as you grow these things. So if we talk about energy security, we can talk about it over the next 5 years, the next 10 years, but I'd rather us look at it in terms of in the next 100 years. What will our great-great-grandchildren think of us and the system that we've left them? We have to think about distribution, for example. How do we get the energy there? Can we generate it at a person's house and just use it there, or does it have to go through wires because you lose so much energy that way? So we have a number of things to think about. And then finally, I think we have to understand that our energy security is only there when the world has security about energy. We cannot expect to consume large levels of energy while other countries who have very little to begin with, have very little energy production, are going to be then sending us their energy. It doesn't make any sense. So we also have to look at ways of producing energy that are available to other places and other societies. And we have to look at decreasing our consumption so that we have more efficient cars, more efficient electricity, more efficient dishwashers. We also have to look at public transportation. Wow, wouldn't it be great to be able to jump on the train and go someplace and read a book and generate less pollution, use less energy, and feel more secure?
Too many people are looking for the silver bullet, the proverbial silver bullet, but it has got to be a comprehensive approach. First of all, making sure that we're smart with the traditional energy sources we already have. Second of all, that we're smart about energy efficiency. And third, that we look to renewable energy in all of its facets going forward. I have a personal bias that because of Houston and Texas, the infrastructure we have already, the knowledge base that we have traditionally and in renewables going forward, that Houston and Texas should not only lead the nation and continue to lead the nation, but continue to lead the world in energy solutions.
I believe there should be a national energy security policy discussion around outer space and what our space-based platforms can do to provide a green, carbon-neutral source of energy and power that one day in the future will be a tremendous alternative. Not unlike John Kennedy saying in 20, 25 years we want to go to the moon, there should be discussions today about 20 and 25 years how we harness the source of energy from outer space that will give us a green, carbon-neutral source of energy.
Well, I think we need good, strong leadership in Washington that can set a stable platform for the development of, continued development of our oil and gas resources domestically and also offshore as well as onshore. We also need to be moving to see stability in the alternative energies that we have available, renewable energies that we have available. Research in these areas is going to be productive, I think, over time, but we look over the history of the production of oil and gas throughout our country. Houston led the way, and Texas led the way. We had the good fortune of having vast underground resources, but today we're seeing a need for further investment into education and research. And if Houston and Texas will continue the efforts already begun in these areas, we will continue to see Houston taking the lead in making certain that energy security will be focused on what happens in Houston.
As the energy capital of America and the world, Houston needs to be the foremost thinker on what are the solutions needed to address America's future. We're leading that effort through our economic development programs and bringing together the foremost leaders and thinkers of renewables, biofuels, sustainables, wind, solar, every form of energy possible to help address this crisis that we have. And I'm proud to be a part of this association that's doing it.
One event, one concern, endless solutions. Don't miss America's Energy Future, Assessing Our Paths to Energy Security, March 24th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. For a second year in a row, the Greater Houston Partnership brings together leading industry experts to discuss innovative solutions to our nation's growing energy security challenge. Industry leaders will take on issues like energy supply and demand and the future of federal energy policy. Be a part of the solution think tank as the Greater Houston Partnership and the Houston region take the lead in assessing our nation's paths to energy security.